When the sharpest words wanna cut me down.
This is our theme song.
I'm gonna see the blood, gonna drown him out.
Hello, welcome.
I'm who I'm meant to be. This is
Hello, this is me. Welcome, 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 welcome.
I'm not scared.
While we're all waiting for some people to join in and enter the room, can I get you to type in the chat box the two feelings, the two emotions that you're feeling right now? It doesn't matter if they are good, bad, ugly, in between. It doesn't matter what they are. It's really important that we start expressing our emotions, expressing our feelings. If you're a bit frightened about doing that in public, feel free to message it privately to me. I'm your host, Anita Van Rooyen, for those that haven't met me. So just put it into the chat box. Doesn't matter what they are. That's even you, Dev and Joe. You guys can put your two feelings, the two emotions into the chat box. We have no such thing as good emotions and bad emotions. There are just emotions. That's one of the most important things to know, is that all emotions are good, even if our parents have said that they're not. Because, you know, some parents tell us that, you know, being too excited is a bad thing, or being too this or not enough, that is a bad thing. All emotions here have a place. They are all super duper useful. So feel free to put them into the chat box. And welcome to some amazing friends, regular faces, and to some new faces as well. Olivia, is this your first time?
Yes, this is my first time.
Welcome. Welcome. Who else have we got that's new? Akshatha, I think you're new as well.
Yeah.
Your name looks like a new name. Welcome to Confidence Crew.
Hi, Anita. I'm new as well.
Oh
I'm
my
Rocio.
God, welcome. Thank you for joining us. How exciting. If you haven't typed your two words, or two feelings, your two emotions in, go ahead and pop them in. As I said, if you're a bit concerned about having them on public display, this is a very safe and welcoming space here. Isn't that true, family? The people that are here that have been here many times before. I'm talking to Nicholas, I'm talking to Shan, I'm talking to Ashvin, I'm talking to Marlon, Aparna. Oh my God, all these names. I'm talking to Sadia. I'm talking to Naganjan as well. Jana, there's a whole heap of you that are familiar faces. Put your two feelings, your two emotions into the chat box. And Param, I saw you got super excited, and I think you logged on about half an hour early, which is so awesome. I don't blame you. I would also be excited if I was being an attendee at Confidence Crew Challenge Quest for Study Melbourne. For those of you that haven't met me yet, my name is Anita Van Rooyen. I am the Chief Confidence Hacker. What does that even mean? Let me move my keyboard out of the way. What does that even mean? It means that I help people, humans, understand the weird shit that they do. Because who here does weird shit? Just me? Oh, thank heavens. I thought it was just going to be me for a moment. Whoop. Today, we are so fortunate to be joined by two amazing humans. The first one is Joe Ip. Joe is our event ninja for today. He's busy cranking out computer things, working it for us. Joe volunteered last minute to be our event ninja / content producer / DJ / chief shusher. That's a word. He's the one that's got all the power to shush people, put them on mute, do all kinds of awesome things like that. So welcome, Joe. Give us a wave. Joe is also going to be, he's going to be our 90-second dance break leader. And he tells me that he's got a couple of dance moves up his sleeve for us, which is also a little bit exciting. For those of you that haven't done the 90-second dance break, look out, because it becomes a little bit addictive. The second person that we've got here today, Devarshi, aka Dev Desai, who is the founder of Internash. Who here has heard of Internash before? It is, Dev's going, me, I've heard of it. Yeah, good, good. It is the place to go for transparent, independent student information. Dev has had to move to Radelaide, aka Adelaide. He might tell you some of that in his story. He is joining us today as we look at this awesome place that we're at in our hero's journey of moving like through terror. Who has had terror in their life, frightened of making steps forward, frightened of doing anything? Oh, yes. Dev is here to share some of his story because he has had quite a life. Dev and I, we go way back, like all of about 3 months or something. I met Dev a little while ago, and he is truly an inspiration. He has reinvented himself a number of times. He has really taken the journey of a hero, which is this. This is the journey of a hero. A hero's life is not this, it's not this, it's this. A hero's journey is totally up and down. So today Dev is going to be sharing with us some of his stories about triumphing over terror, how he has been able to do that. So can we give Dev a crew woo welcome on 3 for those of you that are new? It's woohoo! That's a crew woo welcome. If you haven't got your cameras on, we love seeing your faces. Totally understand that that's not possible for everybody. If you can, oh, hello, Moed, welcome. If you would love to have your camera on, but let's give Dev a big crew woo on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Welcome to you, Dev.
Thank you. Thank you so much for such beautiful, warm introduction. For a second, I was thinking, oh my God, who are you introducing so well?
It's you, Dev, it's you. It's so interesting when we hear like somebody talking about our own story and we go, who, what, who? Yes. So welcome,
Exactly.
please. I know you've got some awesome stuff prepared for us. Dev has also very generously offered to answer questions. So if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box and we will make sure that we get through to all of them before we finish tonight. So over to you, Dev. I'm going to put myself on mute. Off you go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. It's so good to meet you all, meet you all. And I'm really excited to just share my story. I want this whole conversation and this whole talk to be very conversational. So if you have any questions, any doubts, how did I do something, or you think that how do you want to do something, or even like specifically you have certain doubts, which is like, oh, you know what, like this is something that I want to do, but I'm not able to do, just feel free to ask. As Anita mentioned, this is a very safe place, and you can just like feel free to ask, speak, suggest anything you want. But my goal is to like share my story, take you back, I think 5-6 years when I was doing my bachelor's, my graduation, and from then on to like working and coming to Australia as an international student, and then the things that I've done in Australia. And the one thing, if there is one thing that I want you guys to remember, because like that I keep remembering every day, and I keep telling myself every day, that if we really want to do something, no matter how hard or easy it is, there is always a way. That's it. You know, none of the things that I've done was particularly something that was like not possible, because if you think about anything, somebody would have done it really, really well who we can learn from, right? And that's the whole thing. Like we're born and we learn how to speak from our, guardians, parents, whoever, and then how to, whatever the things that we have is taken, borrowed off someone. So that's the thing. So we just have to learn things. But I particularly want to take back to 2015, so which is like just about 5 years back, where I was practicing. I was graduating my bachelor's of law, and I had just enrolled as a lawyer in India. So I was practicing lawyer in India. The reason why I really wanted to do law, and I thought, like, you know what, I talk well. Like, before choosing a career, we always think about whether this is something that we'll be good at. And we have this checklist, which is like, I like this, I like this, I like this, I should be this. Like, simple. We are like very 17-year-old, 18-year-old. We decide what we are going to do for the rest of our life. And that's what happens with almost like everybody, right? So that's what I want to do. I'm like, I like lawyers. They're smart, they're rich, they talk well, they have this aura around them. And I was watching Suits back then. If you have watched Suits, I'm like, this is it. Like, Harvey Specter is all I want to be. Like, that's what I'm going to become. So then I finally became a lawyer, right? I'm like, cool, this is Harvey walking into this thing. And then I was practicing. I got a job at this awesome law firm, really super hardworking, one of the best lawyers in the state. And then I just wasn't enjoying it. So it wasn't that like I wasn't smart enough. It wasn't that I wasn't good at what I was doing. But while I was doing it, I wasn't really happy. Like, I wasn't waking up the next day thinking about, oh my God, I'm so excited for the case that I'm gonna work on today. So that excitement wasn't there. And then I kept wondering, so like, what is it that I want to do? I have studied 5 years. I studied law for 5 years. And then my parents were really proud of the fact that I did law. So going to my parents and telling them that I don't want to do law was a terrifying thing, which is like, and my dad is like, oh, my son is a lawyer. That's what he's doing. And he's like, and I was like, oh my God. It was so embarrassing. But then I just wasn't happy. And when I was not happy, I knew that I did not want to do law, but I didn't know what exactly did I actually want to do. But I knew I was interested in acting. Now, traditional Indian parents, when their child is a lawyer, they're very happy. If their child is an actor, they're very sad. They're like, oh my God, we have failed ourselves. Like, we did not raise our child well, that he doesn't want to do anything. And then I still remember, it's like I told my parents, it is like, you know what, that I have some savings. I won't be like a burden on you, but can I leave my job? And my dad is like, what are you talking about? Are you insane? And totally shut me down. And he's like, if you don't want to, like, started screaming and all. He's like, if you don't want to do law, what do you want to do in life and all? I was like, I think I want to act. And then he's like, do you think you are Shah Rukh Khan? Shah Rukh Khan is probably the most successful actor in India, one of the most successful. And he's like, there are like a million people who want to become actor. There's only one out there, and this and that. And then I was arguing the same thing, which is like, there are a million lawyers, but not all are successful. Because of which he became more angry. And I was like, oh my God, I should like really shut up. But what happened was, like, I kept my job. I didn't leave my job. I kept doing it for 6 more months. Now I'm doing the same job for a year and a half, but now I've lost it. So they had gone on some vacation for like 11, 12 days. And meanwhile, on 7th day, my boss called me because I hadn't done some work properly. And he said that this is not something that you should do. This is not how you do. This is the best law firm. This is not how you work. And my response to that was, I think I would like to leave this job. I didn't think about it. And it just came out. And then he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, now it's out there. I'm not going to back down. It's like, okay, cool. Let's do what happened. Because my parents aren't here. At least I get 4 days to think what happened. So then he explained, it's like, you know what, like the reason why I'm like so strict is because we want you to be the best version of yourself, etc., etc., etc. But I just didn't want to do it. And one thing, and this is what I want you guys to know, which is like how important is clarity, which is like I did not know what I wanted to do after leaving my job, which is acting was a vague idea, right? I didn't even know whether I was a good actor or bad actor. But I knew that I did not want to do law. I just wasn't happy. And all my time is being occupied doing something that I'm not happy. So 2016, I left my job. And then my parents were pretty upset about it. My mom was a little supportive, but my dad was like, what is this? I have failed my life, etc., etc., etc. I was like, okay, cool. I have certain money in my bank account, which is like because I was working for a year and a half. So I wasn't going to be a complete burden on my parents. Now, remember, I'm obviously staying with my parents in India. And I'm eating at home. So I barely have any expenses, right? So I don't need a lot of savings that I have to pay rent and everything. So I'm still living with them. But then I told them that I wanted to act. Now, this is one thing. So now I decided that I don't want to do law. I left law and I decided that I want to act. So when you decide something, that this is something that you want to do, always try to go 100%. Always. Everything that you have, give it in. Because I was working out twice a day. I started acting classes. So weekends I was doing acting classes. I joined theater group. I joined 2 theater groups. So some had their dramas at night, some had in afternoons. I would go every day. I would learn as much as possible about production, about lighting, about direction, about acting. Because if you want to get into something, you have to learn everything about it. And I wasn't getting paid a single penny. That's the thing, right? This is something that I want to learn. I'm not getting money, but still I'm getting to learn. And most importantly, I'm getting to explore a whole new different field. So that was the most important thing. And then I kept doing it. Now, I think I was like super, super fortunate. This is the same time, 2014, 15, 16, when the state where I'm from in India, they had their own regional film industry. Not Bollywood is Hindi, but we had like Gujarati, which is like regional film industry coming up. And a lot of movies were being made. So I actually got a lead role in a regional film. And I was super excited for it. And I'm like, this is it. Now there is only upward. I am going to be Shah Rukh Khan because that's what I am. I know how to act, this, blah, 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 etc. And then that went on for 6 months. I still remember at that time, I had already told my parents that I want to study abroad, but this is something that I want to do. So I was going to study abroad in 2017. Meanwhile, I have 1 year. So I was like trying to do something, trying to make something of myself so that like I can tell my parents that I don't want to go abroad. I think I'm doing really well here. So I got this acting gig and I did the whole movie. It was the best time because I was learning a lot of things. Then I think around end of 2016 or early 2017, I saw the movie. It was edited. It was going to go out in 6-8 months and I saw the movie. And that's when I realized how terrible of an actor I was. Like I could not see myself. And trust me, I'm one of those people who really like to be on camera and I'm this and I'm that and I'm going to do this. And I saw the film and I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed for anybody that I know to see this film. And that's when I realized it's like, one, I can probably try to be a better actor and see how that is. But am I really enjoying this? Am I giving my 100% and getting 100% enjoyment? And surprisingly, the answer wasn't yes. I was like, I'm doing this. I want to do this, but it still is not my passion. And then I'm back to square one, which is like, oh, what do I really want to do? And my parents are into business. They have their business. So I've always been inclined towards business. So the first thing that I had to do was if I stayed in India, 100%, I was going to join my parents' business. That's it. There is nothing more. It's like, you start from the bottom, you learn everything that we do and join the family business. And I was like, okay, cool. So one thing that I know now is that I am getting out of the country, which is the first thing. And then I'll figure out what I want to do in life because like it's one step at a time. So then I've already almost failed at law. I've failed at acting. That's like two whole together different fields. And I still don't know what I want to do. And this is really terrifying because not only you're answerable to yourself, but I'm not sure if you guys feel this, but I feel a lot of pressure from my friends. Recently, this is like last year, a friend of mine gave me a call and he's like, "Oh, dude, like, I want to give some good news." I'm like, "What's happened? Like, are you getting married or something?" And he's like, "No, I'm not getting married, but I bought a house." I'm like, "You're bloody 26. How did you buy a house?" And then the pressure builds up, right? And another friend gives me a call in a couple of months and said that, "Oh, dude, I bought my first car." I was like, and that's a big deal because like these are all the firsts that will happen, and I'm not nowhere close to buying a house. I'm not buying my own car, and all this pressure is building. And then we have our cousins who are doing X, Y, Z, and that's why we settle somewhere where we think we might be happy or a job that is just paying us. But then the most important thing is the time that you are spending. Like for example, and this is the concept of opportunity cost, right? This is something that I think everybody should remember all the time because it applies almost everywhere, which is the concept of opportunity cost. That if I am spending 4 to 5 on a Monday evening somewhere, I can't do anything else. So the things that I'm not doing is my opportunity cost. And this is what I'm doing. So is this the best that I can do with my time right now? Because if you think about it, today's date is only going to come once, right? We have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. So it's a constant struggle to make the most of the time that we have. It's a constant thing. And if you're not happy, for example, I'm 27 right now. And if I'm not happy for like, let's say a week straight, when I'm not going to get that week back. So if I want to be the best version of myself, I have to do it, right? Nobody else cares apart from you, not even your partner. As much as we think that, our partner is there and everything, they are going to get tired of you if you are not happy with yourself. So first thing to do is to be happy with ourselves, right? Like it is super, 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 super important. And I'm sure all of you would agree to this. But again, coming back to my thing, which is like, I'm super terrified. I'm looking at all my friends. My friends are getting married and some of them just decided to like do what their dads do. So they got an upper edge, which is like, oh, you know what? Like my dad got me this job, or my dad or my mom helped me to get this business or whatever. So they got the they got an edge. And I don't have anything. I am being an international student. This is something that all of you will relate, right? So when you come to Australia as an international student, you are at the bottom of the food chain, right? So somebody like, you don't have contacts, you don't have a job. Not everybody has a lot of money that they can rent a house, or probably in St. Kilda and everything. So you are trying, and you don't know anybody in the country. So that's why you're trying to reinvent yourself. And that's what I was struggling. I was like, oh my God, this is like super scary. I'm scared because I don't have a lot of people around me who looks like me. This is the first time I'm leaving my country. I have a very strong accent. And in first couple of days, even in the airport, I remember I was trying to like talk to somebody, and my English is not bad. My English is good. I just have an accent, and somebody just couldn't understand me. And the next time I wanted to talk to somebody, I couldn't, because all I remembered was that when I talk, people don't understand me. So like, why do even I try, right? So, and that's the thing. We always remember the previous experience we had. If you have a good experience, then you remember the good experience that you had until you have a difficult or a bad. So that's what kept happening to me. I still remember somebody was showing me around. I had made a new friend. He was here for like 6 months. We went to Chadstone. I'm sure all of you know Chadstone. So I went to Chadstone, and somebody greeted me. It's like, hey, how you going? And I had no idea. I was looking at that person's face, dead. I was like, I have no idea what they said, because I thought they would say something else and I would pick up what they're saying. But I had no idea. And if you think about it, nobody else greet, apart from Australians, nobody else say, hey, how you going? Like, nobody says that. we are taught in the school, we're like, hey, how are you? You repeat that 10 times, hey, how are you? And nobody literally, like, it's really hard, right? So then I don't understand that, and the confidence keep going down. Another thing is that we want a part-time job. A lot of international students want part-time job, and then it's not easy. So I wasn't getting a part-time job. I was here, I was going to like Chadston, I was distributing my CVs and everything. I wasn't, and then the confidence kept going down, and we didn't have confidence crew back then, right? This is like 2017 July that I'm talking about. So I didn't know what to do, and it was really hard for me to make friends. So like what we do is like we have friends from our own country, right? Because that's where we feel comfortable, and that's like they speak our language, they have a similar accent, everything. So then the primary problem that I kept facing was that I had, before coming here, I had dreamt about coming here, right? I had dreamt about how my life would be like in Australia. It's like, oh my God, like I'm going to do this. Another bummer was I had imagined before coming to Australia, I was following at least 10 pages of surfing on Instagram, because that's what Australia is famous for. If you think about it, it's like you're going to surf, you're going to go to beach, you're going to have beers, you're going to enjoy. So that's what I thought of. I came in July 2017. It was 4 degrees when I came here. And I was like, nobody surfs in this country. Like, what is wrong with this? And then I got to know, if you really want to surf, you want warm water, you go to Queensland. So there was so much information that I did not know when I came to Australia. And I was spending $84,000 at Monash, which is like 2 years, $84,000. That's a lot of money. And that's my parents' money. That's not even my money. So I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do now? Which is like, I don't know a lot of things. I'm exploring everything new. People don't even talk how cold it is in Melbourne, because everybody's like, Australia is equal to sunny, beaches, beers. And the reason why we know this is because that's how it is advertised in other countries. That's not our fault. That's not your fault. Every advertisement that you see, for example, if you talk about India, majority of advertisements would have a Taj Mahal in it. Now, I have lived in India all my life. I haven't been to Taj Mahal because it's bloody 2,000 kilometers away. Not everybody has seen it. It's just far, and I haven't traveled in that part of the country. So the thing is that we see and we believe something. So this was my biggest problem. And then one of my favorite quotes is, and this is something that I want you guys to remember. It's like, if we really are bothered by something and we see that the problem exists, then there is no harm in just tackling that problem. And we don't have to, for example, what I did was, why am I saying this? Is because I saw that there is so much problem. One, nobody told me that I'm not going to get a part-time job. In fact, people told me that you can do a part-time job and pay your fees. $20,000 in 6 months, even if I'm working full-time, I cannot save that much money. So like that was not true. Second thing was that about the weather and everything. Third, life is going to be a lot easier when you go to Australia. All of these things were told to me, and that wasn't particularly true. And that's why I was like, how can I tackle this problem? So the first thing that I can do is that probably just share my story with people. Now, at this point of time, the only time I opened YouTube was for songs, because Spotify wasn't even big. Spotify wasn't big in India. So I had like a Ghana.com. That's an app in India, which was like really big at that time. And then I would go to YouTube to like listen to other songs. So that's only thing I know. But I know like people make videos on YouTube. So why not do that? And then I was meeting a lot of people, and I met somebody who had created videos on YouTube. Like, what? Like, do you actually like create videos on it? She was like, yeah, I do. I was like, oh my God, that's really good. And that's how I created first video starting of 2018, like almost 3 years back. And at that time, the only goal was that even if one person watched this video or 2 people watch this video, they're going to get to know how things work here. That's it. I did not like looking back now, I think that, oh my God, like 4 million views. That's like pretty cool, right? And some of the videos have got like 100,000 views, which is like really good. So if I look back right now, I think like, oh, nice, like it did really well. But at that time, I just wanted one person to see so that they don't go through what I went through. And even today, like even though like I get some money from YouTube and I get sponsorship and it has become a business, even today I shoot my videos with iPhone 11. Like that's it. How easy it is in today's world to actually create content and put it out there, right? So I shoot with this. Last video that I uploaded was a Zoom interview, and like 2 people, you don't have to pay for it. You can record it and upload it. So how easy it is, right? So these are the things. These are the things that I started doing, and I'm like, I'm just gonna. How does PTV work? For example, I didn't know PTV existed before I came to Melbourne, right? Not a lot of people know that PTV exists because every city may have, in every city in every country may have a different transport system. And that's why you wouldn't know this. For example, when I moved to Adelaide, I didn't know that, they have something completely different. So those are the things, right? So I kept creating videos like that. Now I'm looking desperately for a part-time job because that's the first thing that I want. And I get my first job as I was making pizzas, and it was like super exciting. Like, cool, I'm making pizzas. I have never done this before, because in India, these are the jobs that people look down. If you do this, they're like, oh, like you make pizzas? Like, you know what? Like I work at this corporate XYZ. And I was like, I don't care what you think, because all of these people who pass this judgment are anyways never going to help you. They never help. And trust me, like all of these, my friends that I talk about, like even if they want to, they can't really make us do certain things or help us in a way that's just going to like be super, super helpful. Unless they're your best friends and they have that's very rare. So in one of my videos that I said that a lot of people will tell you that, oh, we're going to help you with a job. Like, for example, I'm sure almost all of you would have somebody who would have said, I'm going to help you with a job, but then they don't pick up or they don't help, or like things just doesn't work out. And if you like rely on them, and then you are the one who gets hurt, and that is just, and I had like 7, 8, 9 people, because I would just go to them, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm looking for a job. Because first couple of times it was really hard, because I thought like I'm asking for something that I don't deserve, or I'm asking for something that they would have to give, and all of those things, that why would they do it, and etc. And then I was like, I asked a couple of people and they're like, yeah, we don't have anything. I was like, okay, cool. So if I ask you something and you don't have it, you're just going to say no. Well, that's fine, right? Like, I don't mind if you just tell me no on my face. So then I started asking a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, oh, I'll look for something. And then I have all this expectation built, and then nothing works out, right? So I'm like super sad about it. But then finally I ended up getting a job, and then my friend got a job somewhere. So she told me to apply somewhere, and then I got another job. And I got a part-time job at a call center. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not somebody who's fan of doing a lot of, like, it's just hard for me to do physical work, because I'm like, if I can make money where I don't have to do physical work, then probably I'll choose that over physical work. And then I'm like, oh my God, like, people are doing this and making this much money and like working in this warehouse. And I'm like, I would really like to make that much money, but I'm just not that person who would like that. So then I got this call center job, right? And this is, I think, end of 2017 when I get this job. I'm just starting this YouTube channel. I have no idea where this is going, but I think, looking back now, when I had 2,000 subscribers, it was blowing my mind. I created a video. It's like, bro, nobody has 2,000 subscribers. I have 2,000, because I wasn't watching anybody. So I was like, this is it. I have made it in my life, kind of thing. And then YouTube wasn't paying me. YouTube wasn't paying me anything. But one thing I got to know was that from the comments and reactions and feedback is that the content that I'm creating might be actually helping a lot of people. And that was my cue, right? And another thing was, I was enjoying 100% creating content, marketing it, and helping and doing something that helps a lot of people. That was my goal. So I knew what I wanted to do for the first time in my life. It's like, this is something that I really, really like, which is creating content. It has element of camera. I have to be like properly speak everything. So all the things that I had studied were actually helping me in doing what I'm doing, because your script has to be right. You can't like keep on going about all these things that's just not relevant to people. So those things were helping me, and started doing this. So it was just something that I was giving my 100%, and I was really happy. And that was it, right? So I don't think everybody should take this advice, but by May, I left my job, and I was making at least $2,000, $2,500 in a part-time job in that call center job. And that is like really good money for a part-time job. But I was like, because I'm doing that and I'm studying at Monash University, I can't do YouTube properly. And I still remember I had savings of $6,000, and I calculated my monthly expense. The least monthly expense was around $1,900 actually, not 1,900, just $900, because I was sharing my room with somebody in a very, very shitty situation. Like, the house was just above a restaurant. There was one bathroom shared by like 8 people. And I know so many times I used to shower at university, because I would just take my towel, and then we have gym at the university, so they have showers. So I would just shower there. But then my rent was, I think $400 was my rent. Monthly rent was $400, because it was a shitty room, and that I was sharing with somebody. And the important thing was that I didn't need really good house at that time. When I'm a student, when I don't have any responsibilities, I wasn't into show off. The only problem was I never invited anybody home. And a lot of times my friends ask me, it's like, hey, you hang out at ours, why are we not going at yours? I was like, bro, it's just too far. And it's like, it's not worth going and everything. And they're like, I have no idea. So, but the point was that I was doing YouTube. So I started Internash. I was doing this part-time job, and I was doing university. So it just wasn't a lot of times when I would hang out with friends. So it did not become a major issue. So now my expense became extremely low. So this is the thing, right? When we want to do something which is out of the box, or which is something different, or that's just riskier, that's what calculated risk is. So I didn't leave my job when I didn't have zero, and I'm like, oh, Dad, can you send me money? He wouldn't have. He would have asked me to come back to India. It's like, I'm not sending any money. You come back to India. I anyways did not want you to go to Australia. Why are you there? I was like, okay, no. So asking parents for money is not the best option. Second thing is, I have some savings. And third, this is something that, and then I talked to a lot of YouTubers who were creating content full time and making money. So at least I had a roadmap, which is like, if I do this, then I'll be able to make money. If I have X amount of dollars, that's my monthly expense. I'll cut on booze. I'll not go out. I'll not party. I remember I did not buy chips for such a long time, because if you think about it, chips is something that would cost you $3 or $4. I know this will sound like super cheap, but like it economically makes sense. So like, think about it, like $4 you spend, and it's going to like finish in like what, 2, 3, 5, 10, like whatever, 2 days max. And then you would want another one. And then if you make this a habit, you're at least buying 15, 20 pack a month easy, because you're going out, you have it in your bag, and you're so then that's a cost that you can avoid. And that's how I was saving money, which is like, I know each and every penny that I'm spending, and now I know where I can cut my money. And then my monthly expense is like $800, $900. That's it, max $1,000 if it's somebody's birthday or my birthday and I want to like buy booze or whatever. That's it, right? So then I start doing this, and so I gave my 100%. That's it. So now I want to do something. One thing that we all know is like, not to fail at the university, because the moment we fail, we have to pay like $5,000 or something. So at least at Monash, we had to pay like $5,000 for one subject, and I could not afford that. I wanted to do all these things, because like and in first semester, a couple of my friends failed, which is like, you have to take that subject again in the next semester. So if you like fail 2 or 3 subjects, then you have to extend your semester. So I was like, that I can't do. So have minimum grades that at least you're passing. So majority of my grades were like some subjects that I really liked, I would get D and AC. Otherwise, it was P, C. That is like C is credit, P is pass. So that's just above passing grades. But I was doing a lot of other things. Now, another thing that was clear in my head, which was like, if I'm doing good in social media, that is going to help me get a job. Because anybody who wants a job, they have to prove themselves. I am studying marketing, and if I have social media channels that have done well, that is going to help me get a job. So it was very much calculated, which is like, if this works out, this is what is going to happen. So I leave my job and start Internash. Now, at that point of time, I don't know, right now I feel that it's crazy, but then I started working on it full time. And then we got into Monash Accelerator program. So Monash gave me $10,000. He's like, here's $10,000. So I was like, cool, I can work for what, like 1 year now, full time on this. So I started doing that. And then I realized that no, I have like certain commitments and everything. And then I got a job. Fast forward to July 2019 when I'm graduating. And then Internash is still like just a small thing, still not making enough money. And we just have YouTube, other social media channels have not grown. And now I want a job. And this is the thing, right? This is again about calculated risk, which is like, now either I can do Internash full time and it may work, may not work. But if I don't have a job, then I'm definitely going back to India, because then I don't even have a single option of permanent residency. So then the questions were different. It's like, do I want to stay in Australia? And I was like, I'm not sure if I want to like live here. But one thing I'm sure is like, at least I want to keep that option open of living in Australia. And that's why for marketers, especially for marketers, I had to do 1 year of marketing job to have that option open, because I need to have skill assessment. And that's why I got a job. And I did not get a job because I had done really well and I had got HDs and everything. But I told them that these are my social media and this is what I know how to do. This is the thing that your company needs. And that specific skill is what I'm good at. So and if you think about it, nobody teaches you how to create content. Nobody teaches you how to, and that's the last thing that I want to touch on, which is how easy it is to teach yourself anything and everything. I taught myself how to edit. I recently launched podcasts and I taught myself how to actually create a podcast, and it's not that hard. And I'm still not kidding. I'm sure majority of you think that I'm like a super cheap, as in like I don't spend money and everything, because I record my videos from my phone. But even for podcasts, I haven't spent a single penny. I do everything on iMovies. I don't even have extraordinary editing softwares. Like, that's how easy it is. And it doesn't cost you a single penny. So I taught myself everything off YouTube, and Canva is a thing where I create content and everything. And Canva has a course, which we can do. So the bottom line is, and this is something that I want you all to remember, which is like, if you really want to do something and you think that this might be your calling, nobody can be 100% sure unless you actually do it. So if somebody tells you, oh, find your passion, how the hell do you find your passion without doing it? So you have to explore different things, right? I did law and I did acting, and then I came here, and then I started YouTube, and then I started business, and then I started with this whole entrepreneurship things, and I read about startups. And then I decided, okay, fine, media company is somewhere where I can put my skills, I can help people, I can create content. I like to just specifically create content for international students, because that is what is needed in my eyes. And that's what I'm doing. So you have to do different things and just try to teach yourself as many things as you can, which is like, you can teach yourself to edit, you can teach yourself to code. Funny thing is, I don't know if this is entirely true, but somebody had told me Elon Musk is self-taught on coding and on the whole space engineering thing, because he doesn't have a degree. And he has SpaceX, which NASA approved to send rockets and send people on moon. That's the first time in the history has happened. And he doesn't have a background in space. He has not studied that. And I don't consider myself even like 50% smart of what like Elon Musk is, but at least we can teach ourselves things. At least like we can learn from it, and like at least have that thing which is like, okay, fine, at least let me try something new. And yeah, so that's one thing that I want you guys to take away from this thing, which is like, if you really want to do something, just give it a shot, take calculated risk, and see where it goes.
Wowzers. I don't think you took a breath through that whole thing. I couldn't barely take a breath because I was so just wanting to listen to everything that you said. Who has got some questions for Dev? He has most definitely wowed me. I know some of his background, but this has really been an amazing exploration of how, when we decide that something, you know, that feeling when you just go, this really isn't for me. And I've had that too. I've worked in all kinds of different businesses. I studied as a mature age student, but then, you know, I've worked in government, I've worked in corporate, I've worked in non-for-profit, I've worked in charities, and now I run my own small business. And if somebody had said that to me when I was 20, that this would be my life, I would have laughed at them, because my dream job when I was a kid was I wanted to be a florist. And now I get to use my creativity in building my business and doing all things like that. Who's got a question for Dev? Who wants to come off mute and have a question for Dev?
Okay. Hi, Anita. Hi, Dev. This is really I'm just stepping out of my comfort zone here and asking you.
Yay!
Like throughout your story, I was like, oh my God, I am not the only one. I'm so happy about this. Even for the fact that you mentioned those chips and the budgeting, I'm like,
yeah.
I just thought I was a cheapskate.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're paying for it, not somebody else.
Exactly. It's a good
So,
one.
would you be open to me writing about this and on my blog? Would you be open to like a question and answer session?
Yeah.
It would be lovely to collaborate, because I know like so many people were feeling the exact same thing, and I would love to, you know, get you
100%.
connected with them.
Yeah, would love that.
Now there's a question here from, thanks Aparna, there's a question here from Sadia saying, when you said you didn't wake up feeling excited for your job, that she felt that. Hashtag me too. Whenever someone asks me what I want to do, I always say, I don't know. I just know that I want to wake up and feel excited. Would you say you have found your passion?
Ooh, really good question. In fact, I think there's some stats that I read out there which says that 60 to 70% of the people don't love their job. And if you really think about it, it's really sad. And I don't blame them. I think there's a fault in the system, and how like it's really hard to get out of the system, and like everybody has this responsibility and everything. Coming back to the question, have I found my passion? I can't say that 100%, because this is what I believe, that with age and with time, your interest changes, right? So just because if you had met me 5 years back, I would have said, I am a goddamn lawyer and Harvey Specter is what I'm going to be. So don't ask me anything. I want to become a lawyer. And then like 2 years later, if you had asked me, it's like Shah Rukh Khan. That's the person I am, which is like, I'm the biggest actor. That's what I'm going to be. And then like, if you ask me now, so like it keeps changing, right? But what we have to ask ourselves. So this is, I never ask myself if this is my passion. What I ask is, am I enjoying what I'm doing 100%? That is what I ask, because passion is a word which is like very much so used that a lot of people don't feel the value of it. Like you start using a specific word so many times that you lose the value, and that's what I think has happened with passion. And it has become cool, which is like, oh man, I'm passionate about it. I don't think a lot of people, it's easy to find your passion, but you can only find your passion by doing different things. And that's what I do. So the easy way to do this, and this is not something that I have created, this something that I read recently, which is like, write down your interest. So here's my interest. My interest is like creating videos, playing badminton, playing golf, talking to a lot of people, getting to know different stories. Those are my interests, right? And like marketing, etc. And then see how many of those interests you're actually doing, and see which one do you really like. So all the people who want to see this is, there is this concept of Ikigai. Just Google it, and that is the concept, which is like, here's your passion, here's where you can make money, here's your interest, here's what you can make money, this is what the world needs, and then collaboration of all of these things is something that you're passionate about. That is the whole scientific approach for finding your passion. But I would say, like, just do the things that you really love, and you'll end up finding something that you can do for the rest of your life.
Who else has found that that over time that their passions have changed? I know for me, over time, my passions have changed. So I may be passionate about something now and then wake up tomorrow and go, oh, that was so yesterday. Like that was just, it doesn't feel like that's a thing that really excites me to get out of bed. And, you know, I think we all, you know, when we have something like that, that gives us that inspiration, it gives us that motivation to keep going, even when there are times that are hard. Because I can imagine, Dev, that through that journey of, you know, not eating chips for who knows how long, like that's a hard thing to do, right? Like it takes discipline, it takes all these kinds of things. But I think what makes it easier is when you've made that decision. And remember, we talked in the first week about when you make a decision. For those that missed it, the recording is on the Confidence Hackers YouTube channel. That you can, like, once you make a decision, that you can start, then all of your actions can go that align with that decision. If you haven't made a decision about what you want to do, who's noticed that when you haven't made a decision, you can kind of be really flippy floppy about all kinds of things. Oh, well, I might do this. Oh, I kind of will. Oh, sort of. Yeah. So getting to that first point, like Dev said, you know, like it takes courage. It takes action to do something that is outside of your comfort zone, and to do something, Dev, like what you've done, is, you know, as, you know, the good son, so to speak, in, you know, being the lawyer. Parents are very, you know, proud, talking about, oh, my son's a lawyer, he's the greatest, my son is this, my son is that, and then deciding to pack it in. This takes a lot of courage. And I speak to students all the time that, you know, that get to that point, they get to like the edge of the cliff where they have to make a decision. Do I go forward, take that step into the unknown, knowing that there's going to be repercussions, because every decision has, you know, there's outcomes for our decisions. Do I take that leap of faith, or do I just hang waiting on the edge of the cliff, and how long do I wait there for? And so thank you, Dev, for showing us that, you know, taking that step of extreme courage. Who else thinks it's extreme courage to stand up to your parents like that? Yes. And your friends and everybody. This is extreme courage, right? This is courage on steroids. There's a whole lot of us that...
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Anita.
Oh, it is. It's extreme courage.
I kid you not. Even my friends make fun of me for leaving law even today. It's been 5 years, right?
Yeah.
It's been 4 years, and my friends still, and what they say is, and these your best of friends are going to make fun of you the hardest, right? So they're like, oh, but you can't stick to a single thing. So like you can't do a thing. I was like you shouldn't say that. Like I'm trying these things, and they'll make fun of you, and some people would be like very serious because they like the conventional path. But again, the question is, are you happy doing what you're happy? Like that's it. I am answerable to myself. I know this is like super hard. It's easier to say. And when my friends told me the first thing, when one of my best friend told me, I felt really bad. And I felt like, probably I shouldn't do the things that I'm doing. Like he's right. He has known me for like 10, 15 years. But then I realized like we think differently. Like I love him a lot, but like we think differently. Like he settled down when he was 23. And like, it's just like very different pathway that we want to take. So you have to ask yourself if you're happy. Like that's the thing. And everybody, even happiness is different for a lot of people. For example, eating chips once a month is happiness for somebody. There's nothing wrong. I don't think, and this is actually Anita had told me very recently, probably last week she told me, it's like taking extreme of something is never healthy. You should just like really know what you're doing and be aware of what you're doing.
The balance always, which is the hardest thing to get. Who else struggles with balance? Is it just me or is it the whole world? Please tell me it's a whole lot of you. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have any last questions for Dev? Because we have got some extraordinary stuff that we've got a 90-second dance break that you're welcome to stay and join us for. If there are no other questions.
Anita, I do have.
Oh, awesome.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Anita.
Hi.
Thanks, Dave, for sharing your inspirational story. It was really good. My question is, what advice would you like to give international student in terms of exploring and participating into social events while managing their study and part-time job?
I think it is. So if I could go back in time, which is not like a lot, which is like last 2 years, but like I just could be like student at Monash again, I would participate in clubs and societies a lot more. At that time, I just particularly did not have a lot of time because I just couldn't ask for my living expenses to my parents. My parents were paying my fees, so I didn't have that pressure. But like I couldn't ask for my living expense to my parents, and I was doing this part-time job, doing the startup and everything, and I couldn't do a lot of events. So I think, and you guys, the fact that you're here, it means that you understand like how important it is to like interact with people. But one problem which I've seen like in a lot of events is like how many of you guys would actually stay in touch after this event. And I think that is what is most important part. It's like not just attending events, but like who do you want to interact with, and just like we all can see each other's names right here, and then just add any one of us on LinkedIn and send a message like, hi, I would just like to know about you. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Great. That's a great advice. Thanks for sharing.
It is it is that struggle of balancing between work and life and outside activities and all of that. And look, as Dev said, it's super important to make sure that there is some priority given to your studies, because, like if you don't pass, this means a lot of extra money, a lot of extra time. It means a lot of extra heartache for parents and yourself. It also doesn't mean that pass mark needs to be high distinction in everything, because I think, Dev has said, like, his aim was to get a pass. I know when I was studying, that was my aim too. And there were some subjects that I naturally kind of excelled at because I had a natural interest or a natural talent in them. And the ones that I didn't, well, I just wanted to get a pass, and that was good enough for me. And I think that there are a lot of students that are fed the belief that unless you get high distinctions in everything, that the world is over, you will never get a job, you will never be successful, you know, just end everything now, because why bother if you can't get HDs in everything? And this is not, this doesn't create an equal balanced in life as well. Sandesh has said, hello Sandesh, lovely to see you. Look at your long hair. It's almost time for another haircut. Sandesh said, it is growing, absolutely. I have engaged in so much activity, sometimes I forgot my studies and deadlines. So interesting you said that, because I noticed that too. That there are some students who are so focused on doing all of the extracurricular activities, all of the activities, all of the things, all the clubs, all the everything, that I do wonder how they actually get their studies completed as well. So balance in life is everything, absolutely everything. Do we have any other questions? Because I'm aware that we've just got 15 minutes left and we've got a bunch of other stuff that I'd love for us to get through. Any other questions? No. If you can put your cameras on so that we can give Dev a crew woo to thank him for his awesomeness, his generosity in being here. I asked him to come on and say, look, could you just have a chat to us for like half an hour? And you can't possibly shut the man up. He's got so much to share, so much to give, and I think we can all be super grateful for that. So on 3, can we give a Dev a crew woo? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dev. You are welcome to stay with us. Coming up next, Joe, get yourself ready, because it's time for our 90-second dance break. And you know what that means? That means everybody standing up for our new people as well. Everybody standing up. Aparna's going, yeah! We love a 90-second dance break. That means everybody, that's you too, Sandesh. And Ashwin, I don't think you're standing up. I can see you. I don't think I'm not looking. All right, Joe, whenever you're ready.
Yep. So for today, I've just got a couple of simple moves. So some is like that. So maybe I should stand up.
Yeah, maybe you should stand up too.
Yeah. Yeah. So the move is like that. So, yeah, like just waving your hands and like elbowing, something like that. Very easy. It's just all is about hand move. And I also encourage people to turn on their cameras, because today's topic is about stepping outside of our comfort zone. So let's just take a small step forward today.
Oh, Joe, I love that, because I think you have taken probably something close to a bit of a giant leap today in expanding your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So.
And there's and I'm pretty sure I'm the worst dancer in this room, so you don't need to be afraid, because there's someone that is worse than you.
We do have a very loving family here as part of the crew, so work it as you can, Joe. Work it, and Ashwin is saying that he's at work, so he can't do that. That's okay.
Yep. Let's get started. So 90 seconds.
Perfect.
Just
nice and loud.
Yep. Just like that.
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go. Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then we talk slow. Come over and start up a conversation with just me, and trust me, I'll give it a chance. Now take my hand, stop, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love. Your love was handmade for somebody like me.
We do a 90-second dance break because it's good for your mind, it's good for your body, it gets more oxygen into your brain. When you have more oxygen in your brain, you can make better decisions faster, you can retain more information.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, that's not 90 seconds already, is it?
No, I just accidentally tapped on my phone.
That's okay. He was getting so much into it.
Yeah.
That's the reason we do a 90-second dance break. It gives us a chance to get up out of our chairs also. Go ahead and play, Joe, when you're ready.
Yeah. Just skipping through the ads, just
Oh,
give
of
me.
course. Don't we love the ads on YouTube?
Yeah.
There we go. So your 90-second dance break is to help us move our bodies. Our bodies require movement. It gets more oxygen into our body, into our blood, which means it's more oxygen into our brain. We can make better decisions more quickly, more easily. And it's a good song too. And of course, this is very much a judgment-free zone.
Yep, 90 seconds is up.
Oh, awesome. Can we give Joe a crew woo for that one? Woohoo!
Thank you.
Good on you, Joe. Great dance moves, by the way. Who agrees me with that? Great dance moves from Joe. He is, well, he's admitted that he's not the greatest dancer in the world. I don't think that cares. I don't think anybody cares, and I don't think it matters. It's just great to be able to get up, move your body, move your brain. It's good for everything. Dancing is probably one of the greatest things ever. Now, we've got a couple of bits. Oh my God, we've got like 11 minutes left. I say this every week. How does the time go so fast? Now, we've got two extraordinary things that we need to talk about. The first of is that this is Study Melbourne. Thank you to Study Melbourne for creating the opportunity for Challenge Quest, which is so exciting, and for Confidence Crew. This journey for us is something that is super exciting. As I said, for those of you who don't know, I used to be the shyest person in the universe. It's hard for me to believe also, but doing something like this would have had me like just dripping with sweaty palms and feeling really so nervous that I probably would have just not even turned up. So I'm super, super grateful to you for the courage that you guys have to be here, and for the courage that you have for wanting to extend yourself, expand your worlds, expand your horizons at the same time. Now, through Challenge Quest, every week, for those of you who are new, which there are some newies I can see, which I love, absolutely love, every week we have a challenge as part of Challenge Quest, where students are invited to write about what they have, not just what they've learned from today's session, but what they have done with the learning. Because, you know, it's one thing to learn stuff. It's another thing to take that learning and put it into action, put it into practice. It's really interesting. A lot of people have said to me over time, oh, Anita, look, I'm waiting for like the confidence fairy to turn up, to sprinkle like confidence dust over me so that, you know, I can be confident. Like as if confidence turns up first. What actually happens is it's the opposite of that. When we start changing our thinking, then we can start changing our actions. That changes our outcomes, and this creates confidence. Confidence comes as a result of doing things. It doesn't come before you do stuff. Courage can come before you do stuff, which is why, remember, we talk about the courage bucket. Who remembers the courage bucket? Yes, courage bucket for newbies is the bucket that's right down beside your foot. It's always by my right foot. I don't know, it might be in a different spot for you guys, but the courage bucket is always there. It's full of courage, and sometimes we just need to reach down, grab a handful of courage before we do something, splash it on our face. Yeah. Sometimes like when we have to talk to our parents about, you know, scary things or do something that feels terrifying. Sometimes we've got to do this one. Pick up the whole bucket of courage. I know some people's courage bucket feels like it's this big. Some people's feels like it's this big. Pick up the whole bucket of courage and do like the ice bucket challenge over your head. Drown yourself in courage before you can take the action so that you can then get the courage at the other end. And we have had some amazing response to last week's challenge. I'm going to say special mention to, who have we got here? Mohit. Special mention to you, Mohit. Teddy, are you here? Can't see that you're here. Teddy. Ashwin put in an amazing challenge response also. And Naganjan also put in an amazing response as well. They are the special mentions this week. The winner each week wins a $100 prize pack, which includes a $50 voucher of your choice, which means you can just tell me whatever it is that you want to have a $50 voucher in, and I will just make it happen. Then there's also some physical stuff, because who loves getting presents? Like actual real things, says every person ever. So the other $50 is a gift pack that has got amazing things in it, like this, which called Mindset Magic. Oops, hard to see. Mindset Magic cards. They have got 30 solutions to everyday problems. There is a journal, there's a book, there's all kinds of awesomeness in there. And so actually, let me just share. Where is it here? Because I want to make sure, because I've had a number of people that have said, Anita, I want to enter the challenge, but I don't know where. So this is the site that you join. It's free to join. And you can register there and then type in your challenge response for this week about triumphing over terror. So taking something that you have learned in this session today, because who's learned something today? Who's taken some gold today? Yep. Taking some of the gold that you've learned today and doing something with it. This is the challenge. This is what makes the difference. The difference that makes a difference is not just learning stuff, it's actually doing something with it. And that's why I love to reward people who take action. And this week's winner, I'm so excited. This makes me super excited. This week's winner, and look, I hate having to do this job because like everybody's challenge responses are so inspiring. If you haven't gone onto the Preparize site and read them and commented, please do, because like there is so much inspiration that we have right here in our crew, in our Confidence Crew family, that it is like, it becomes overwhelming to me sometimes. I read some messages and start going like that. I'm a bit of a crybaby, but I do. It's really, it really is very, very amazing what you guys do. This week's winner, I'm not going to drag you out any longer, is Naganjan. You have won. Can we give him a crew woo as well on 3? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Naganjan, I think, has been now to all of the workshops in this series. Is that right?
Yes.
You are amazing.
Thank you so much for that.
Look, the messages that you have been putting in have been truly inspiring. You talked about that you decided to become a blood donor for the very first time.
Yes, I have this with me.
Bring it a bit closer to the screen. First time blood donor.
And this was the band, limited edition band that Red Cross Australia is giving away for the donors. Guys, please, it's my request, if you can, please go and donate blood, because recently I saw a post by our premier. I don't know if you've read my comment for this week's challenge. He was urging Victorians to come up, step up, and then donate blood. Please do that. And he says the stock that Victoria has at the moment can serve only 2 days. They're running low on stocks. Please do that. I'm actually telling people whomever I meet, guys, please do it. Please do it. Let's save life.
If you have a vein, then you have an opportunity to
Yes.
donate blood. You also mentioned that, excuse me, you also mentioned that you got yourself a volunteering position after, like, with a lot of persistence, a lot of resilience after trying and trying and trying. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And you also mentioned something that I would love to have a chat to you about a bit further, called happiness puzzles.
Yes, yes.
So we might, I'm just conscious of the time and some people may need to leave. So we'll have a chat like after we've kind of wrapped up.
Okay.
If people can stay and want to understand a bit more about Naganjan's happiness puzzles, which is something that I think you've created.
No, it's something that already exists, but people don't know.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Now, there was a bunch of you that put your hand up and said, yes, that you've learned something. Can I get you to please type in what has been your biggest learning? What has been the biggest takeaway that you have got from today's session of Confidence Crew of Challenge Quest? Ashwin is saying that takes immense courage. Great stuff, Naganjan. That's about the blood donation. Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
Moet's saying take the courage and step out. And we don't have to go zero or hero. What do I mean by that? It doesn't mean that we have to go immediately to 100% with doing something different. Remember, for those that were here, was it last week or the week before, in expanding your comfort zone, taking that step by step by step, you still get there. Rather than trying to take one enormous leap in one go. Take the courage. Remember, your courage bucket is always there. Even if you take the courage bucket challenge and dump the whole lot over your head, as soon as you put that courage bucket down, the courage bucket is full again for you. Guaranteed. That's an ironclad guarantee. Let's have a look. That my initial struggle as an international student was not because of my failing, says Ashwin. It was a natural thing that almost every new Australian has experienced. I would probably go to say that every new Australian has experienced that, not even almost every new one. Like the courage that you guys have shown to leave your home country, to come here to a country that most of you know very little about, or what you knew was what you saw on TV, what you saw on things like what Deb said about, you know, Australia is full of sunshine always and surfboards and beer, and that's it. That the weather in Melbourne is not all over the place, even though it is. So like understanding, even just knowing how to do ordinary things like where do you go shopping, how do you travel, how do you go to the movies, where do you get information from, how do you buy stuff and where do you buy it from. And that's why, you know, Dev has found a problem, something that was a problem to him, and has worked to find solutions for international students. The Internash YouTube channel, he's got like a Facebook group with 20,000 plus international students on there as well. he is really, we talked about passion before, he is passionate about helping international students have access to transparent information. We know that a lot of agents, we know a lot of people have got a reason for wanting to get you to do stuff. And Internash is all about making the information really transparent, really honest, so that there isn't any kind of interests there at all. Aparna says, don't be afraid to explore your passion. Yes, passion is not set in stone. It is a route of exploration. Our passions change over time. What we were passionate about a year ago may not be what we're passionate about now. I know I used to...
Sorry,
Yep.
is that, I don't think that's the case with everyone.
Sometimes not.
Yeah, I'm an exception for that.
Of course you are.
See, I have a passion towards robotics from 2012, soon after I did my schooling, and today I'm still doing that, specializing in that.
Beautiful.
That's my passion.
Did you have that passion when you were 3 years old?
No.
You see, and it doesn't mean that when passions change over time, that time could be 10 years, 20 years, 50 years.
Oh my.
But our passions change over time. Yeah.
Change, yes.
Yeah. So the time frame doesn't matter. If you have got a passion that is a lifelong passion or almost lifelong, rock on. I think that is amazing. If that inspires you and motivates you to get up and do whatever it is that you want to keep doing, that's amazing. The problem is that when people hold on to a passion that has been a passion that no longer inspires them. I have most definitely been guilty of that. I used to spend a lot of time, energy, money in Latin dance world. And overnight, it felt like my passion just kind of went away. And I kept trying to bring that passion back, hoping desperately that it would come back. And it may one day, but at the moment it's not there. I'm passionate about other things now. So it may come back over time. Who knows? Who knows? Erin says, find your passion by doing it. Try different things. There are so many opportunities here, and especially as students, for you to try, have a taste of different things. It's kind of like, you know, if you're looking at something new to try, you don't have to marry it on the first time that you try it. You can date different activities, different hobbies, see which are the right ones for you. We've got take decisions. Yes, if you haven't watched the decision-making workshop that we ran now, I think it was in week 1. It's on the YouTube channel. Check out Confidence Hackers on YouTube. The decision-making workshop is there. It goes for an hour. I encourage you to have a look at it. It is, I've taught that workshop probably about 10 or 15 times. It is incredibly useful, incredibly powerful to learn how to make some really good, useful decisions, looking at the consequences of making those decisions and the consequences of not making decisions. Not making a decision is still a decision. Desmond said, if you really want to learn something, teach yourself as many things as you can. We are so fortunate that we have access to so much information, sometimes too much. There's so much information on the internet that's available, means that we can learn just about anything, just like Dev mentioned there. Olivia says, be courageous to change or explore your options if it's something you really want to do. Yes, it's okay to be different from your peers and live life at your own pace. Hallelujah. Because imagine if we were all the same. Boring. We are the boss of who? Mo, it's going, we are the boss of ourselves. Yes, we are the boss of ourselves. And that means that even if the decisions that we make are not what other people would want for us, it's still our decision. We are the boss of us. We are the CEO of us. Somebody wrote in their challenge response, We are our own CEO once we allow ourselves to have that position. If we give that position of CEO to somebody else, they will take it. They will make decisions that are not necessarily the decisions that we want to make for ourselves. When we decide that we will be the CEO of ourselves, the boss of ourselves, we get to make the decisions. We also get to then manage what the outcomes are as well. Marlon says, hooray to Zoom on mobile. Yay, absolutely. Tuned in while driving. Oh, as long as you weren't watching the screen, that's the most important thing. My greatest takeaway is that passion lies in the trial and error. Marlon, love it that you're here. It's always so great to have you. Passion lies in trial and error. We can try all kinds of different things before we have to decide on what it is that we're passionate about. And even then, guess what? We can change our minds as well. If our passion works for us for a while, but then no longer works for us, we can change to something else. And that is because who's the boss of us? We are the boss of ourselves. Aparna says, what's the name, the decision-making course? Have a look, Google on YouTube for Confidence Hackers. That's the name of my business, Confidence Hackers, like as if you're hacking into a computer. Hackers find simple solutions to tricky problems. And so Confidence Hackers, we find solutions to the tricky problems that surround confidence. You guys are amazing. Next week, we have, I can't remember because I forgot to look up what next week's session is.
The one with the terror.
That's this week.
This week?
That Triumph Over Terror is this week.
Right.
Next week is something which I can't remember. Naganjan's looking it up because he's a bit of a hero. He does that every week for me. He's realized that I forget every week to look. No, it's something that's going to be really amazing next week.
Dealing with drama?
Oh, yes, of course. This one, dealing with drama. Who's had people in their life that are full of drama?
I don't think of anyone.
This workshop is going, like, this is probably, I say it every week, this one is so one of my favorites to help you understand what is going on when you have a vortex of drama around you all the time, when you have people that are in drama, how to deal with it, how to manage it. If you are the one that's got the bubble of vortex around you, how you can decide to change. Yeah, Olivia's saying probably myself. Olivia, this will be a perfect one for you because there are ways, simple, effective, useful ways that you can start like taking yourself away from the drama, dealing with things in a different way. That means that you have different outcomes. When you change your thinking about stuff, you change your actions, and that changes your outcomes. And that's what we do. We change outcomes, but first of all, we have to change the thinking so that we can change the actions, yeah? That is why Confidence Crew is such an important thing, because we look at what is it, rather than just do something different, what's the thinking that needs to change behind everything that we do, yeah? Such an important thing. When we change our thinking, we change our actions, and that changes our results, our outcomes. Thank you for giving me 15 minutes extra. I made Confidence Crew an hour and a quarter because I thought that I didn't have time when it was just an hour, and now it's an hour and a quarter. Now I still don't have time. Naganjan, please tell us about happiness puzzles.
Okay, so I guess people believe in ECG, electrocardiogram.
Yes.
it's a means of it's a means to know how your heart works, whether that performs well or not, or there are some issues. So what do you think a means of communication to the brain is? Means of a way to know how your brain is working. There is one way you can know how your brain is working. That is within us, and that's our hands. Do you believe that?
Wow. Tell us more.
Okay, so when you okay, I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of personal learnings. So I have a personal trainer with whom I speak every week or so. So he teaches me a lot of stuff. Okay, let me start with first thing. So I learned this.
Oh, Rubik's Cube.
Yes.
Oh, now you've got a lot of them. Oh, wow.
Yes. And I have more coming up. I'm still not started learning. I have a kit of 10 Rubik's Cubes.
Oh, wow.
I'm learning one by one. So that has proved. I did not trust him in the beginning. I did not trust him. I was like, no, I don't. So he was like, don't pay me, but just join me and I'll show you what's the difference is. And then he started teaching me one by one, and then I started realizing, yes, that makes a difference. So when your brain and the hand interacts together, and when they get some time to spend together, so it makes you feel more productive, be more productive throughout the day. At least until now I have now 4 different cubes. So I solve at least once or twice a day. All 4 of them I just quickly solve. Now I can solve them. I'm trying to be more efficient.
Wow.
So
and what that does is builds and strengthens what's called neural pathways in your brain.
Yes. And one more exciting thing, I don't know if you would believe, same thing, I did not believe, and then I started. So this is my book filled with some random patterns.
Bring it a bit closer to the screen so that we can just see one page.
Some random patterns like this. So I practice them. I get different patterns every week. So I write a piece, one page full of whatever I want, some random stuff. So my personal trainer goes through that, and then he finds what are my issues, what are my problems, what problems I'm going through, and then he gives me a different pattern every week. So for at least 3-4 days, I write with my right hand and then with my left hand. So I can show you the improvements with my left hand as well. So this is something I've written with my left hand. And then I'll show you the one with my right hand. This is with my right hand.
Fantastic.
By time, I was very bad with my left hand writing, and then by time, yeah, I'm doing good now with my left hand as well. Now the challenge is to write with 2 hands. So I've not started it. I have to take up the challenge now.
But look, that's the whole thing. It's taking those step by step by step. As you learn, as you practice, so many of us think that we have to be perfect at the first go. Who's had that as their story? That was my mum's story. That was my story as well. That if you couldn't be super successful at the first try, don't even bother. What this is showing is that we can overcome, we can create new pathways in our brain. It's a thing called neuroplasticity. That means that we can create new pathways in our brain, we can strengthen things. It's the reason that we can learn, we can grow. And that just shows, Naganjan, that, you can do it with your right hand, you can do it with your left hand. You can learn and grow creating these new neural pathways, but it all begins with the belief that it can happen. Starts with your thinking.
Can I take 2 more minutes to tell one story of mine?
Please.
So, I did my diploma in mechatronics engineering, and I finished in 2015, and then immediately I wanted to go to the US to do my bachelor's. But due to financial reasons, I could not go, but I managed to go to UK. I did my bachelor's from UK and then came back. And then US was my destination for my for any of my studies. So for masters, I kept trying. I got refused once, second time, and third time, and I was like depressed as hell. I was seeing hell. So I was yelling at everyone, my dad, my mom, my sisters. I was just yelling at them every day, every single day. I used to fight with them because it was not intentionally, but to get over the frustration, I used to do that. And then I came across this person, and then I started training. And then within 3 months of time, I got an opportunity to meet RMIT representative back in India. I met that person, and then I applied, and within 1 month's time, in less than 1 month's time, I was in Australia.
There you go. Look at you being an inspiration to all of us.
This works.
To change your thinking. You change your thinking, going from somebody blaming everybody, yelling, angry at the world, changing your thinking to, I need to be responsible for myself because I'm the boss of myself. Change your thinking, change your actions, change your outcomes. That is a formula that works every single time. And I know because I've tried to break the formula, it works every single time. Guys, I need to go. I've taken way longer than what I was going to. Can we give Joe one more crew word, because he's rocked out like a mofo? We're allowed to say that? We're allowed to say that. Crew woo on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! Good on you, Joe. Thank you so much for being here. Next week, thank you, Naganjan, for checking that out. Yes, we are looking at dealing with drama. It's going to be such an awesome event. I can't wait for it. I will see you next week. Remember to join the studymelbourne.preparize.com site. Put your story in of what you've learned, what you've taken from today, how you've used the learnings that you have gained today. And you also could be a winner like Naganjan. Oh! Thank you again to Study Melbourne for having us. Thank you for the funding for Confidence Crew for Challenge Quest. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Take care. Bye.